So, sir, with your due permission, I want to ask the first question, please.
Please.
We have noted this thing that teenager behavior can typically be described as very impulsive and unpredictable, with many mood swings. Sometimes our children, they don't want to get up early in the morning. Sometimes they want to sleep late. Sometimes they don't like the food of the home. Sometimes they want to go for the hoteling. There are many problems which our children they are showing, and definitely the parents, they are facing that all. So, sir, what would you suggest to deal with mood swings of the children? This is very important question.
Well, I experience the same as father. I have 3 kids. They are very demanding. They are very challenging at times. When I want
all of you, sir, you're right. All the parents, they are facing this problem.
Because it is the externalities which the children are exposed to. Well, if they have seen an ad on local cable channel or television channel about the launching of a new food chain in the city, and they have put up catchy adverts, enticing packages on the sandwiches and burgers and drinks and beverages, and a very sumptuous menu they're selling through advertisements, and our children have recently seen it. It's cloudy evening already outside, and you want them to make or write an essay or do their homework, but they're asking to have a drive out and a dine out, maybe on the newly launched Hardee's or McDonald's in your city. So there is no harm in driving out and taking your kids for a dinner. But while you're taking them for dinner, you can divert your topic if you were to ask them to write an essay on the football match while you are driving to the venue, and then you are there at the venue and McDonald's for the dinner. You can change the topic and you can ask them, look, you said you asked me for the dine out and I have wasted not a moment and I have taken you out for the dinner. Now, as we go back home, you will do the 2 pages on this very environment, on this very ambience that you have experienced, on the food that you have tasted, on this whole lot new exposure that you have received. You just go back and give me a 2-page essay on this very experience. So this is where, and they'll be far more happy after having enjoyed the dinner. They will go back and not only write that 2 pages assignment and essay on the experience that they have just had with their full thrill and passion. After doing that assignment, they will also be in their right mood and right frame of mind to do the homework that you were trying to make them do before they ask you to take them for dinner. So that is how you can creatively, meaningfully engage with your children, also meeting some of their demands, but at the same time keeping the larger focus in your mind and converting your focus from the homework to the assignment related to the experience that they have had through the dinner. That is one way of handling such situations. And there are, for example, in classrooms, if there are digressions, they want to talk about the weather outside, and you are trying to teach them mathematics. You can have a similar discussion. You can teach them what makes cloud. Where do the clouds come from? How does rain basically fall from the skies? What is the difference between a rain and acid rain? You can teach them chemistry. So it is the juggling with many balls at the same time. A teacher, I always keep saying, is a juggler. He has so many balls in his hand, and he keeps juggling with quite a few balls at the same time, and never allows any of the ball to fall on the ground. That's how he has to be tricky. He has to be clever. He has to be intellectually smarter than the children, whether they are in your classroom or at home, and you have to creatively manage their demands at the same time, not compromise on their academic and learning journey.
Well, sir, in detail you have given the answer of this question. We can say the child of 21st century, the digital child. So there is the concern of this thing that the modern parent, they need to be very technical and digital as well. They must know about the psyche of the children, and they should try to treat the child according to that.
Digital children need digital teachers and digital parents.
And digital parents. Another triangle we have built, that we need to build a digital triangle to deal with the child of a 21st century. Mr. Imtiaz, would you like to ask any question, please? Over to Mr. Imtiaz.
Yes, Mr. Mehra, as our viewers are throwing a lot of questions, and they are very much impressive to the conversations of our chief guest, Mr. Asad Tahir Jaipur. Sir, the query which I have received from the parent side, it is harder to grow up the child today than it was in the past due to unsafe and insecure environment. So how can we ensure safety of our children in these challenges time?
This is very important question, and it also shares my parental concern, because now the child has to be put at the center stage of the activity. Parents must understand that it's their children and their future, which is of utmost importance, and at the same time their security and safety. Times are gone that students should be allowed to play in the streets outside. Times are gone that the playgrounds were at times safe. Now you have to provide them these facilities at home. You have to take care of their physical growth and their physical needs. You rather should at times find some time in the evening to play with them. You can have you can make them learn to play chess. You can play chess, Scrabble, other indoor games. You can have badminton inside. You can have table tennis in your house lawn. And at times over the weekend, you can drive out to a park and where you as family travel, so they can run here and there. And at the same time, you are keeping an eye on where they're playing. That is one side of it. The other side is the cyber security and the cyber crimes and the games like PUBG and other nefariously designed activities available on the web portal, which are injurious and harmful to the health and safety of child. That is again, as we as parents have to be very vigilant. We really need to keep a constant eye on as to what they are exposed to, what they are surfacing on the internet. At the same time, a very important area that parents should take care are their peers and friends, the peers who visit them while they are at home, and the peers and classmates that they choose to visit when it is weekend or summer holidays. So it is always a family trip. You always encourage your child to accompany either mother or father or an elder brother at home. Whenever there are visits, exchange of visits, we have seen crimes. We have seen a very dear class fellow murdering another class fellow over some trifles and over some jealousy issues and over some small feuds inside the classrooms. They are entrapped and they are enticed into a function, and where 2-3 criminal-minded comrades hatch a conspiracy, hatch a plan, nuts a plan, and kill at times their own classmate. So it is very important to be mentally very vigilant, to keep an eye on their company, to keep an eye on their friends and peers, and be around always wherever they go, from park to playgrounds and from their peers to classmates visits. It is very important to ensure that you as parent or elder, sister or brother is always around wherever the child is moving. Whether
Okay,
it is
sir.
offline or
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Sir, as we have discussing about the children attitude and the attitude of the parents as well, we have observed that in the previous centuries, the children, they were I'm not saying that the children of this century, they are not obedient, but they are different from the previous century children. They were at that time, they like that even sometimes if the parents, they are snubbing and scolding. But child of present century, he didn't like the authoritative style of the parents. He didn't like the authoritative style even of the teachers. So this type of the child is again, this attitude is again a problem. So how does parenting style and attitude help in fostering the child? Whether the parents and teachers, they should be affectionate.
I understand what
You
you're
got my
trying to ask.
question, perhaps, sir. Yes.
I understand and I appreciate this question. Again, this is the new reality. And we as parents have to
Yes.
learn to deal with this new reality. This is not going to go away. We just need to see and understand its dynamic in totality. Now, in the very beginning of my discourse, I told you that learning in the yesteryears and 20th century and before was a one-way street. Teacher was the giver and the student was the receiver. So when you have a relationship of a giver and a receiver, somebody always on the giving end is respected more, and the other person on the receiving end is having hands like these, and he is asking to imbibe and learn and receive. So everybody, where it is classroom or outside the classroom, those who are at the receiving end are humbler, they are obedient, they are respectful, with inverted commas. Why I say inverted commas? Because respect does not mean necessarily that a child who is sitting dumb in a class with hands folded like this is more respectful. Because with hands like these, basically, it is not the hands closed, it is the brain closed as well. Because in that dictatorial style, you are not allowing them to ask any question. He was a humble recipient of whatever I say the stuff was delivered onto them and vomited out by the teacher. They were only bound to receive in the form that it came as such, without adding any value from his side. But today's child is not ready because he already is informed and educated by this digital media available around, by his Android phone, by his iPad, laptop, computers at home, by social media. He is already knowing and he wants now to participate. Discussion and participation, a participation-oriented discourse, a two-way traffic is only possible when both parties have something to add. Now that is where we need to understand the difference. If students now are ready to be heard, to be made a part and parcel of the learning journey, why should we object? Why should we equate this with an attitudinal problem? How can we term this child as disrespectful, who only asks a question, who only objects to the veracity and authenticity of a question being answered by the teacher? If he or she says, "Madam, this is not the right answer. Can I add? I have just read yesterday on Google or XYZ site that the genesis or the origin of this discovery was in year 1909 and not 1919. What is the harm? Why can't we be flexible enough to accept his or her role? Why can't we as teachers ready ourselves to share our burden to the students if they are ready to take the burden as equal stakeholder in the learning journey? Why are we still in that old frame of mind, ready only to be the giver, the one-way giver? Why can't the students themselves be assigned with assignments, with research topics, with group discussions, where they share the burden of yours and mine? And we should not mind them asking questions. We should not mind their thrust and thirst of knowledge as equal stakeholder and equal participant of the classroom activities. This is the problem that we really need to understand, and this is the area we really need to work very hard as school managers and teachers. It is not the attitude of the student, it is the attitude of ourselves and our teachers that also needs to be mended at the same time. When we blame students being disrespectful, indeed, we really need to be more flexible. and tolerant towards the inquiries and questions coming from the students.